Yo, what's good, people? How you doing? Hope you're all well. Digging the day. Looks like you guys are busy in the chat. I'll check in with y'all in just a sec. Just getting the last little thing set here. What are you all working on today? Anything good? It is gray and cold today. It's actually my kid's birthday yesterday, and what he really wanted, he asked me a few weeks ago, Papa, since I didn't get snow on Christmas, can I have it for my birthday? I told him that's a pretty big ask. That's not something we can just order up. And then it snows on his birthday. And it stopped snowing in like 15 minutes after he goes to bed. It was amazing. Actual Kevin, welcome back. Eric, how are you? Paul from sunny Maryland, munching on brunch. Lots of gray today, apparently. Purple Pros, how are you? Phosphor. Yeah, axial tilt depression. That's a good way of putting it. Oh, Kevin. Saffron, hello. Oh, dude, new mic. New mic. Yeah. Tell us all about it. What have you recorded so far? Lamenting our current planetary angle relative to the sun. Yes, yes, yes. A 5-story green screen. That's amazing. That is amazing. $1,000 tube neuphonium rig. What's up, Zamertz? Yeah, happy birthday, OhmLab kiddo, indeed. Hey, Kevin, happy birthday to your granddaughter. That's amazing. I hope she's staying happy and healthy. Is there any more things you should learn for video games? That's a good question. And I also saw that there's an email from you in my inbox that I think I still need to get to. Let me think about that for just a second. Yo, Nate. Dude, Nate, it was so good seeing you yesterday. Truly. And thank you for the host. I appreciate it. Saf, you're getting kind of close to the point where, like where Nate is, actually, where you kind of start doing these periodic check-ins and, you know, you dig into actual projects that you're working on with paying clients and seeing how you can either shift workflows or your attitude or whatever it be to improve all of your things, both for you and your clients. So I would say that we'll probably be switching to that soon, I bet, because you're going to have to start spending some more time actually attracting clients. I think maybe what we start to focus on soon is scoring specific things to help you get more comfortable and feel more natural with layering different, very simple elements that have been designed, and then incorporating more Foley stuff. Now that you have a good microphone, I feel like there's probably a few things that we could run through as far as processing those types of sounds and how to start building a really, really unique library of sounds that you can then, you know, impress your clientele with. But yeah, other than that, man, I think it's more like businessy type stuff, mindset type stuff. You know, how to turn profits and how to price stuff and how to get real conversations going with people. That type of stuff. Nate. Yeah, actually, you know what? Saf, maybe you and Nate should talk a little bit and just kind of pick his brain about what his experience has been like. You know, like dipping in and out of uh, I guess, busyness, right, in all of this, and how he started to become a bit more stable in it, and what the sessions actually translate to once you get to a certain point, and how it impacts you. I think that when you first start doing sessions, like for the first few years, and you're learning a bunch of different techniques and somewhat random ideas, right? Because you're trying to figure out exactly what your focus will be, and you don't know yet, right? Because you haven't really figured out your like real true skill set and where you really excel and what really interests you, right? So it takes a little while to get your footing, and it all feels so new and so impressive. And then you get to this point where you're making pretty good sounds pretty consistently, and your output is becoming more and more dependable and predictable, if you will, right? And the quality continues to go up. So you start to feel like you've actually plateaued at this place. And in a way, I guess you have, but there's this whole other side to all of it, which is just working on your personal stuff, your habits, your routines, how you're connecting with people, how you present your stuff, what your standards are, how people find you, that type of stuff. So yeah, and they start to feel like all of that learning starts to make everything else feel different. It's actually really nice because you start to take some pressure off yourself in regards to learning about technical aspects of making audio or music, and you instead start to kind of reinforce your actual dreams. Like, I don't want to work for the man anymore. I want to work for myself. How do I actually make that happen? Right? It's one thing to know that you can make the sounds to do it, but it's another thing to know, like, with true confidence, and a proven track record, that you can package up your goods and get them to people in a way that allows you to do it again and again, and that you can grow a book of business, and that people come back to you because they're pleased. And once you start to realize those things, everything, I mean, everything in your life starts to change, obviously, but everything um, starts to feel different whenever you're working with music and sound. You start to feel a bit more secure in a lot of different ways, and it's a pretty awesome thing. And you definitely want to go through it with someone or some people that you can share that with, right? So it's definitely a good time to start connecting more with other people that are doing similar things. I think Twitch is a really good place to build community like that. Um, so I definitely hope that you're having like little side channel chats and stuff with the folks that come through here, because there's a lot of really really brilliant people that come through here. So that are oftentimes more than willing to share their experiences and their insights and stuff. So actual Kevin, I talk about this a bit myself, especially because I kind of grew up part time out on the coast, and it was just exactly that. There was nothing. In the valley where I grew up, there were the three networks. There was a local channel, and there was PBS channel on TV. We didn't have cable. Um, and man, yeah, it's just a very different. It's not just a different world with all these things available, but it's just fast. Everything is so fast now, um, which is really weird to hear my own voice say, because I remember adults saying that when I was a kid, thinking, "Yeah, whatever, you're just getting old." But stuff is freaking fast now. Hey, look at that. Nate is already reaching out. Saf, take him up on that offer. You guys should talk. What up, Subvids? How are you? All right, so there was a decent amount of interest expressed in Reaktor last week, and we actually ended up getting into a bunch of feedback and side conversations, so I didn't end up being as productive as I wanted to be. So I thought that today, kind of split the difference with each other, and I would open up a few things that I've never opened before, that are really old, right? Because there's a lot of great stuff coming out every single day on the Reaktor user library. But there's stuff that was made like over a decade ago that's just flippin' rad. So, uh, and I like going back and revisiting those things, or like dusting off some gems that I saw once upon a time and never downloaded. Um, so that's what we're going to do today. Um, and Reaktor blocks, Zamaris, we're definitely gonna be doing some Reaktor block stuff. Maybe a tiny bit today. But what I'd really like to do is spend, like at least a week, maybe a month on it with you guys. Just because it's so good. And we can just hit record, in big like 30-minute chunks or something like that. And chop up a bunch of new sound packs for you guys when we do that. Love playing with the modular stuff. Actual Kevin, it's a really good place just to have good conversations. I don't know if you've checked it out yet, but Damian Taylor's channel, um, I don't know. I feel like we're a bit of cousins or something. Anyway, he streams on the same days, right before me. He usually wraps up right around the time that I'm getting started. But that's another good destination. Um, some good conversations, intelligent conversations. Subvids, yeah, man, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. It's gray but bright. It's not snowing at the moment. Wet, not really actively raining. You can't quite call this a drizzle or a mist. The native tribes in this area, um, a couple of them had, I forget what the actual number was, but it was like 100, maybe even more different names for rain because we have so many different kinds of rain here. I feel like there's some spots in the UK that can that can feel that too. Oh man. Oh, I like that. Aliens landed in 1995. So so what are we talking about then? Is Reaktor really like some kind of portal brought to us by our interdimensional uh like distant cousins or something? Is what 95, like who was Whitley Strieber or Art Bell the ambassador or something? Maybe we could make a little album around this. Nate, you take care, dude. Good luck with hop legs. I followed Kevin yesterday when he set that link, so I'll check him out. I saw that he was on this morning. I just didn't have time to click through. Yeah, Damien is delightful, Kevin. Well, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. Yeah, Saf, I think the reason why you feel like you're in a bit of a blind spot is because you are still. That's all. You just haven't gotten out of the learning mode, right? You were creating, you got back into learning, and you just haven't gotten into actual output yet. Um, Everything will start to feel like it's falling into place over the next year, I think, as you start to actually release stuff into the wild, whether it be for free or for cash monies. Um, but I think it's more just about finding a groove. It really is. And being really brutally honest with yourself about the stuff that you're actually enjoying versus the stuff that you end up doing because it's what sells. And as you do that, you'll find a happy middle ground with yourself in a way to really enjoy the time. And that's when stuff starts to really sound good because you have a direction and you can feed that momentum and have fun while you're doing it. And that, yeah, you'll absolutely get it. We should talk seriously about a roadmap for you, like in the coming year during your session today. I forget what else we're talking about. I think granular topper stuff. Yeah, what up, Paul? What was for brunch? Drizzle plus mist is called mizzle. I like it. And Purple Rain is number 101. That's awesome. Oh man, Chubby Rain, Powfinger. Oh, that movie. Oh man. Sound design is horror, anime, surrealism, and futuristic sci-fi. I think that sounds absolutely spot on. Make that your niche, dwell within it. I think you would do fantastically well in that space. I really enjoy working in that little sliver of the industry. Yeah, back in 95 as generator, absolutely. All right, so what I did right before coming on here was I downloaded just a few randomly. One was called Brachial Brute, and let's see if I have any of these open or if I closed it all down. Oh, here's another one. So there's Cantubec, and I'm gonna go back here. We'll look up Brachial Brute. Okay, so there's Brachial Brute. This is Reaktor blocks. What else did I grab? Oh, the ringer. Oh, this did not open up a tab. That's weird. We'll just do it this way. All right, so ringer. Oh, I already did the brachial. It was the ringer Cantubec. There we go. And then the last in one was Mount Ginger. If we have time for more, we can grab more. But these are the four that I just kind of randomly grabbed, and for no particular reason, honestly. And I don't know that we're going to go through them in any particular order. Maybe we'll just start with this one since the far right tab and work our way this way or something. So Cantubec looks to be like it's a combination, it's a mashup of a bunch of different stuff. Someone needed a certain kind of pad making tool, didn't find what they were looking for, so they created this. Carrier oscillators, operator oscillators. There's a stutter section, built-in ARPs, filters, resonator, vibrato, and it all comes together in this weird, I don't know, this looks like something you'd find in a Russian bunker or something. Ringer, it's called a tuned percussion modal synthesizer. Think bells and stuff is what I'm expecting. Haven't played with any of these yet. Brachial Brute, sounds like it's just going to be noisy. and weird. So, but I was looking at these names, and there's some good names here. Um, you'll get to know some names if you start trolling through the Reaktor community library. Um, but this seems like a good lineup of people, so I bet this one is good. And this one's called Mount Ginger, and this is another Reaktor Blocks one. So we'll do a couple things in Reaktor Blocks today. And I have no idea what to expect. It just says low CPU usage, and it's snowing chaos on Mars. So we'll see. We'll see. Sometimes I listen to audio previews, and sometimes I just like to be surprised. Because, you know, when you went to the record shop when you were younger, you didn't get to listen to the stuff before you bought it. You just bought it, and you had fun. So that's what I like to do. Ooh, Eric, I will check that out. Russian submarines, huh? That sounds interesting. All right, so it sounds like people are into the Russian bunker synth here. So let's go find, let's see here, in files, Reaktor, Kantubek. All right, so it looks like there's an ensemble and there's a couple of instruments. Ooh, there's a tape tank. Hey, I wonder if tape tank is the one that you were just mentioning, Eric, because it looks like this is a separate instrument. I'll just toss it in here really quick. Oh, maybe not. All right, so this is Kantubek, and this is an ensemble, so it's probably going to require my DAW to be running. So why don't we set this at like a, I don't know, like an 80 or something, or maybe even like a 60. Explore some modulation, and maybe we'll just loop this for a bit. See what we start getting out of this. Well, some of them you could listen to stuff. That's true. That's true. Um, man, there are a couple of really great record shops in Portland that were always great about letting you listen. Um, in the small town area where I grew up, there was like we drove to the next town usually, which was called Beaverton, to get to like a Tower Records or something like that. Um, but really, the only things that you got to listen to in advance in a place like that was like the stuff that they wanted you to buy. But man, going into Portland and getting to listen to stuff and not even have to buy it was that was a game changer for me. I found a lot of really cool stuff in the shops that way. All right, let's do this. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Um, shut up, Kevin. We're not that old. Let me click on this link so I don't lose track of it. This is coming in from Eric. This is another from the same creator. This one's called Kursk. Uh, it must be good if there's a disclaimer going up. Please don't just play this and call it your own. That's awesome. All right, let's get back here and play some stuff. All right, let's see what kind of we can click in and find some snapshots here. Huh. I'm kind of surprised that they don't have a whole bunch. Oh, they do. Okay, there's a bunch embedded. Cool. Yeah, Wiggly is right. Two Junos walk into a bar. Javar, welcome. That one's pretty good. Let's just play with these. It's pretty hard to make out the details on this thing. But it seems like the sonic output is quite nice. So it's worth it. Oh, nice. So I know it's hard for you guys to see all of the dials here, but on this tape tank module that's connected at the bottom of this thing, it's nice. There's a little feedback and cross feedback mix control, stereo delay control for both left and right channels, frequency, phase, mod, filter, saturation, hiss, so I'm assuming some noise, size, so reverb. So this looks like a bit of a pitch shifting phase modulation delay reverb unit. Yeah, that's dope. All right, let's play with this a bit. Oh, those are great textures. Ooh, that spread is nice. For qual. huh? Hey, I like it's got a brick wall embedded in it. That's nice. Hmm. Yeah. Did I choose these based upon the unintelligibility of the UI? Man, if there was ever an entire ecosystem of tools that needed uh, larger and clearer, more interesting GUIs, it would be the Reaktor user library, huh? The sounds that you get out of them are worth the price of admission, which is free. So, oh man. Yeah, Kevin, you know what? I am basically um all completely in the box these days. And I really, really like it. I started going in that direction when I first moved to Southeast Asia and was roaming with a laptop and producing and building stuff. And um I just never really looked back. It was harder for me to get back into a lot of the gear stuff. I still have a fair bit of, like drum machines and sequencers and stuff like that, but by and large, I've gotten rid of a bunch of synths and even the rack mount synths and um, yeah, tubes and stuff. There's too much that you can do. And I can make most stuff sound really warm and analog or crunchy and analog or whatever. So I'm not really concerned about um, the losses that come with giving it up, really. Yes, Saf. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I need to reach out to Evo, and we'll get him on the show, and then he can talk about it and fill you guys with lots of inspiration and mad science ideas. He's a fantastic human being. He's also old school Purifam. For those of you tracking the family tree, the lineage here. Not my planet, monkey boy. Oh man. Paul. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it says. Just matters what it sounds like, right? Let's keep it in the set. Yeah, Kevin. I mean, there's really there's no way for me to like hate on any kind of gear because it's awesome. It's just easier to move around and do stuff with the soft stuff. That's all. Absolutely. All right, so these are really great textures. So I'm going to record just a little bit of this. So let's set this up. And let's just let this run for a little while and see what we can kind of discover along the way. Let's just let this run for a bit. We're probably not going to record a whole hour at a time. These waveforms are great. I'll zoom in for you guys. See how low we can go on this? I was looking for textures. Here they are. Let's go up. Apologies beforehand if it gets a little shrill. All right, let's take one of these way down, but add some res to it. Follow the envelope a bit more. That was nice. All right, so let's bring this back up and bring this bandpass down here. Bring this resonance way down. It's up quite a bit more. Okay, let's check this. Yeah, these are all just single key presses, except for one. I did one chord right here, just to kind of test the tonality of it. Loving the modulators in this. Felt that in my thymus going up out my ears. That's awesome. All right, let's bring this res back up. Pick this one back over. Let's get both these popping. Switch our amp. A little more feedback. Bring down our crossover point. Let's switch up our delays. Woo. Let's go down another octave. All right. Let's switch these out here. Let's go for a parabolic on this and a pulse over here. Bring up our compression just a little bit. Bring our modulation back down. Add a little drive. Super wide. Too low. Let's go back up. Woo. Oh, that resonance. Let me go back down and get some more of these needly noisy bits. Guess we're filling up the sci-fi folder today, huh? All right, let's bring our cross feedback back up, our feedback down in general, bring our mix back down, and let's play with a faster delay response time. Some pretty interesting stuff. All right, let's call that our first run on that one. What do we end up with? Almost 15 minutes of noise. Cool. Some interesting sounds coming out of that. Set this to none. Let's check our audio really quick. Yeah, those would be good. These are going to be fun to process. And you know what? If we were to toss on a little retro color on this. Yeah, we'll circle back and we'll play around with some RC20 modules on this one. Cool. All right. Well, we've got a bunch of MIDI here. Maybe we can just use that again. I'm a big fan of getting more out of everything. Oh man, the names of these snapshots are great. Oh, let's turn this on. Oh, classic. All right, so can 2-back is pretty cool. I'm going to leave it to the side for a sec, and I'm going to pull up our next one. I think I might come back to this one later and explore the other instrument that's in here. Unless those are just... Oh, I see what's going on. Never mind. We've just got two instruments making one ensemble here. How about ringer? Let's do ringer. Have I played Dead Space? Are we talking like PS2 days? I do remember oh man. Yeah. Huh. So this is definitely after that. What is this, like PS3 days maybe? I should revisit that one. You know what else did a pretty good job with the different atmospheres and like spatial effects and stuff was the Mass Effect series too. You gotta love it when you can freak yourself out playing a game. I mean, you've got to be really immersed to get there, right? Yeah, yeah, I can feel that, Saf, right? Like, not necessarily scary, just kind of chilling the effect that they have on you, right? And the space. All right, so let's take a look at Ringer. Ringer is tuned percussion modal synth. So let's see. Ringer. Are you here, Ringer? Or maybe it's the Ringer. Ringer V2. And oh, here it is. In a higher directory. All right, what does this one sound like? Nice. All right, so it looks like we've got a Space Master stuck onto the end of this thing. Some nice sound out of this thing. They quite literally just stuck Space Master 2 right onto it. This is part of the Reaktor library. It's a core essential. This is why Reaktor's so great. You can just start stringing things along. This is crazy cool. I like it. It's not really what I'm feeling at this very moment. Maybe I'll come back to this in a few minutes. What's the next one? There's Mount Ginger. And there's... What's the other one called? Brachial Brute. Bleep bloop. I guess that's Mount Ginger over there. Guess this is the heat, perhaps, over here. This is a pretty weird one. Gotta love it. Oh, these are great. Those are awesome. All right, let's see what else we got here. I want to check out the Brachial Brute too. This is another blocks. perhaps some harshness here. That's awesome. I might have to come back to these last two for the sci-fi pack when I do that later. These are not going to fit the mood of what I'm building, but I would like to check out this other one, this Kursk. Let's see what this one sounds like. Download that really quick. Okay. That right over here. There's Kursk. Let's see what this one's all about. That's pretty dope. I can see why he's telling people not to use this stuff outright. Let's see what this thing can do. Really digging this interpretation of the signal here. That's nice. All right, what's he got going on in this? 3-channel BPM sync playable post industrial soundtrack tool. Okay, so that's interesting. So the inspiration for the tool comes from the story. August 12th, 2000, the Russian nuclear-powered submarine Kursk sank during a drill in the Barents Sea. He thought it would make an interesting movie, and this is a synth to score that movie. Engine 1, pads and drones. Engine 2, brutal distortion. 3, purely sequencer ARP driven. And it only works with the clock running. Okay, good to know. Snapshots are evolving. End of chain is the disto verb, fuzzed out reverb. It's capable of delivering towering walls of noise, much like a certain dark cavity product from a company whose name rhymes with Eden-like. Oh, man. Okay. So let's get this clock running. I don't think we need all that MIDI there. Man. All right, let's get the highs tapped down on this just a bit. Yeah, I wish the interface could be zoomed a bit. These are great. There's 3 separate control panels for the 3 different engines. There's this engine 1, engine 2. So engine 1 is your pad, engine 2 is your distortion basically, and engine 3 is your sequencer. It's got a safe button, just in case. Got an additional FM engine down here. Oh, interesting. It's got saturation, fold distortion, clip distortion, and a bit crush in here as well. Plus additional dirt if you need it. Little ring mod. Ooh, and you can alter the ring mod sources as well, which is pretty fantastic. It's just the project that I'm working on right now, Kev. I know the last many streams have all been kind of dark and highly textured, and no, I'm just building a big library. I don't see a random button in any of these. Let me check the sequencer. There's a switch. If you throw the switch on the sequencer, there's it can randomize the sequence. Yeah, these are this UI is very tough. It's very cool, but it's really hard to read. Looks like that's the only randomization feature on the whole thing, is the sequence. Yeah, let's just check and see. I bet it does. Yeah, morphine works. All right, so let's do. Without having listened to all of these, I liked mixing names. So Kevin, this is going to be a pretty large library of cinematic textures and atmospheres predominantly. It's very, very texture heavy stuff, but there'll be some transition cues and just general like sweeteners, stingers, that type of thing. Lots of pads and atmospheres as well. You know, tension builders, dramatic spice, if you will. Ooh, now that's crazy, huh? Let's bring this one down an octave. And let's bring down this pulse width modulation just a bit. that fat switch on the chorus is nice. Let's see here. Let's take out some of this resonance here. I like the simplicity of this spot we've come to rest at here. Just kind of randomly tweaking parameters in each one of these patches until I find a good spot. This is morphing between two different ensemble snapshots right here currently. So let's just capture this one. Kevin, it depends. I use a controller nonstop, and sometimes I take the time to map out parameters. It depends on how much time I'm going to be spending in it and exactly how I'm going to get the sounds out of it. If I do a whole bunch of stuff in a continual capture, like half an hour at a time or something like that, it's absolutely worth it to me to map stuff out to knobs and sliders so I can get stuff happening pretty organically and just stop looking at stuff and just listen instead. But when I'm just dinking around with new stuff, I do tend to stick to just the mouse clicking until I feel like I'm going to invest some more time with it, if that makes sense. Yo, what up, Ricky? How you doing, Trance in my pants? Huh, okay, so let's see here. What if we just take off, let's just turn off this whole thing. What is this? Is this propulsion, engine, and torpedoes? Oh, I see. Okay, so there's a carrier and operator panel here. So 3 entirely separate synth engines running this thing. Just take all these off here. I wonder what some additional heat on this would actually sound like. Yeah, a little additional mangling on those might be kind of nice. Oh yeah, man, the Twister Fighter. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When I was still teaching at Pure Mind down in San Francisco, a few of the guys were super into uh, the MIDI fighters, and it was great. One guy ran a couple of them, the the old school, just arcade button style, and then the Twister. Um, and they were always coming up with stuff in really unique ways that I was not expecting, and just like the simplicity of it, it's pretty awesome. It's kind of like turning your performance into a game, sort of. I like the idea. It's a pretty interesting one. Oh man. Yeah, I like having contact with an instrument as well. Once I feel like I have something that I really want to play around with. Um, Absolutely. It sounds like there's just this constant. Oh, maybe this guy just had glide on everything. Weird, weird stuff. Um, let's go find something else to play with for a few minutes. Freaking hotkeys. Will I ever remember? All right, we'll just call this dark sweeteners for now. And let's jump over to the user library again. Guess we could look at some block stuff. Nick Dwyer is always making some pretty interesting stuff. Sugar Ghost. I like that name. Sugar Ghost. Textural sampler. Plus car plus strong. Interesting. Spirograph. What's this thing sound like? Interesting. Just a pack of textures for your blocks. That's nice. People are always kicking down. Rack mount backplates. Nice. Oh man, I forgot about the noise furnace. Man. Andrew Wong, going back 11 years on this one. This was a fun little noisy generator back in the day, huh? It is fun going back and visiting some of these things from years ago. So a wavetable synth from Richard Devine up here. The Starship Enterprise. That's awesome. Quilts of Chaos. This one's from 16 years ago. Sentient Doom Horns. Pretty interesting. Ooh, Organism 10. I remember this. He had a few of these. Rick Scott. He makes good stuff up here. For those of you who are just getting into the Reaktor world, you can click through to his name and see a whole bunch of different things that he's made. Spongler. What? Ping pong cross and stretch delay combined. All right, let's check it. The Spongler. Ooh. This would be a pretty interesting processing tool for some video game sound effects, like weapons and saturation station. Oh, interesting. So this is oh, okay. So this is Stephen Reed. He makes good stuff too, and you can find him on YouTube as well. But this is his run at something like Sound Toys Decapitator. And he's even used some Abosco Max macros in here and hid some extra controls in the B view. What that means, I'll show that to you really quick, just in case. Standby recording files for, yeah, whatever. Let's go grab that download. Stick it here for now. Okay, where was this? Reaktor. There it is. Guillotine 2. So, oh, what am I doing loading it as an instrument? This is obviously an effect. Let's put something simple through this thing. Have you guys ever played around with just the effects ensembles for Reaktor? Oh, dude, the D-beam. I'm just catching up with chat for a minute. Have I looked at the Buchla thing? There are a couple. There's one that's huge. Oh, this is it, the Cloud Lab 200T. Yeah, I think I've got that in this folder, actually. Oh, maybe it's on the hard drive. Yeah, this thing's insane. I discovered this one when I was down in SF and did a crazy little afternoon run with this thing. It's a whole lot of fun. All right, so I was going to pull up just like a simple whatever. Let's just put maybe a little drum beat in here or something like that to start with. Or maybe some vocal chops. That'd be kind of an interesting one to play with.
If people are rude to others because they think their wealth and position gives them that right, or because they don't like a man's race or his religion. And if books and newspapers and the radio are efficiently controlled,
Ooh, Foley. Let's play around with some Foley. Sure, we'll use this one. And we're going to put that reactor effect on it. And this was originally running at 88. So we'll just load Reaktor on here really quick. And pull up that ensemble. Guillotine 2. And let's see what this does. Ooh. Wow, that's actually pretty impressive for such a lightweight little thing. This thing's running at 1% CPU, and it sounds nice. Yeah, I could see that being quite nice, actually. I bet that roughs up some vocals nicely as well. Punch, punch, punch. How are you? Wonder what the oldest ensemble in the library is. Probably like 20 years old. Dude, no joke. One of my kids' birthday presents yesterday was a Spirograph set. I loved my Spirograph growing up. And one of his friends sent him a Spirograph as well. It was like a small kind of off-brand whatever, but like in a little travel case. So he's doubled up on it and he's enamored. It's cool to see. There's stuff in there over 12 years old that is still the doggos danglies. Quote of the day coming in from Eric. Oh man. Christmas of 77. This year my sister was born. The latest Akai software. How do I pass the time waiting for VSTs to scan? Knitting an extra long scarf. No, I catch up on the chat that I've been ignoring. Paul, you would love the Reaktor effects world because it's just so what. It's just so what. And what's really fun is finding these really interesting ideas, like the singular ideas, downloading a bunch of them, and then stringing them together in different ways. It's a nice way to dip your toes into the water of Reaktor. Yeah, as Eric says, better than what the DAWs usually provide, and easy to build mad signal flows. Absolutely. Oh, started using some despotism samples in a patch. Nice, dude. Nice. Glad to hear they're getting a workout. What is your current DAW, Eric? You're not Bitwig, right? That's Swamp, right? What do you use? Thank you, Zamertz. That's one of the that's out of the gold pack, which if for those keeping track at home, the trinkets pack, which everybody seems to just absolutely love. This is all layered Foley. I should show you guys how I make layered Foley because it's a fun endeavor and you can all do this at home. But I put out this pack a while back, and when was this? This was last year. Oh, 2019. So a year and a half ago. Anyway, put out trinkets, and it was so wildly popular that I put out gold as a follow-up, and this is sequenced rhythms, like toppers, basically, using just the trinkets sounds and just putting them into motion, and they're great. And I've heard people use them in such creative ways. They're super fun to use as like noise gate triggers and stuff like that to add some really cool rhythm and texture to pads and stuff. Yeah, just toss them on top of a beat, and it sounds like he spent a day on it. Cubase and Ableton, awesome. You were using Cakewalk Sonar at the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the other thing that's really fun about using all the stuff freely available to you in the Reaktor world is just the sheer discovery factor. You never know, like the happy accidents, the rate of happy accidents drastically increases when you start using the Reaktor user library. And just the stock stuff is great too. Like there's nothing bad in the stock library for Reaktor. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to top off my coffee, hit the little boys' room, come back, and we'll jump into some Reaktor library stuff, and crank out a few awesome things. So, I'll just toss on a little tune here for you, and I'll be right back.
I don't have a lot of patience for people who feel like they're downloading from the cosmos. You know, just like, that's how it came out. Okay, great. Now let's make it better. But, you know, just writing from a place of understanding rather than from a place of fear, where you're just grateful for any idea that comes along. when you don't want to change it because you don't know how. And, it's not about the ideas, it's about how you support the ideas.
Yo, yo. Kevin, you're a Reaper guy. I know lots of Reaper guys. Saf, that's really good to hear, man. I find that people that use Cubase for a really long time establish some really wicked workflows. Bonch, you're into renoise? Oh, man. I had no idea. Really? Felix is Latin for laughing? I didn't know that. I think most people would agree. Renoise is just flat out confusing to get around, especially if you've never used like a tool like that before, for sure, right? Yeah, I could see how Reaper would be your DAW since you prefer VCV, Paul. I can see that quite easily, really. All right, would you guys rather see some stuff inside a Reaktor, or would you rather see how I take a bunch of the types of sounds that I've been making in the streams lately and push them across the finish line? How many of you are finishing projects out there? And how many of you are not, and you're getting frustrated with it? I am curious. And I should probably start running some polls soon for workshops. A bunch of you have reached out asking when workshops will start this year and like what kind of stuff will be available. But I'd love to hear from you guys and know exactly what you're wanting to dig into in 2021. Finishing and frustrating, huh? Are you bouncing a lot of stuff these days, Ricky? Felix. I like it. Getting back up into Reactorville here. Some seriously fun things to play with. Oh, form. Let's play with some form. Man, do I play or be productive? It's a tough choice. Form is brilliant. Form is just so good. All the Tim Exile stuff is great too. The mouth, the finger. You can transform anything into anything. Form. That's what it starts off with. Trust me. Form. See?
Form.
Let's initialize this thing, shall we? Where'd all the presets go? There we go. It is very craft work, isn't it? All right, so we're back to the initialize patch here. Let's drop something in here. Wait, what, Kevin? The relearn plugin for Reaper. It's a VST that uses MIDI to play Reaper. Maybe we should toss one of these. So, Ricky, basically what you're saying is you work swiftly these days. You come up with something, get it into audio before anything can crash, huh? Oh, man. Yeah, there is some absolutely profoundly wonderful width and stereo imaging that you get out of Form, Eric. It's amazing. If, in fact, if you want really awesome 3D sound effect, you can use a nested reverb and kind of like detune your spaces, and really like make this feel like it's a spherical experience. Um, Ricky, oh man. All right, so let me read this word by word from Kevin here. In other words, it lets you map MIDI to arbitrary Reaper specific functionality. It's mind bending. It's made by a silent film keyboardist. Apparently, that's still a thing, just like Carl Stone, um, called Hugo Boss, and is very actively developed. Very interesting. Interesting. Whoa. Huh. Interesting. All right, so I like doing all sorts of fun little things with Form. Specifically, one thing that's a lot of fun to do is well, and Chroma Verb is good for this too because it has a nice freeze function on it. But making kind of washed out atmospheres and drones made from things that are pretty sharp and metallic initially. Um, anyway, it's just fun because Form allows you to isolate things in some really, really cool ways. Let's put a tone into this. There we go. All right, so let's use our new toy. Ooh. Oh, that sounds nice. All right, so we've got some audio here. So let's take a It's too easy to reimagine things with form. It's more civilized to be using key map filter envelopes anyway, Kev. We understand. Key tracking is important in our world. Yeah, I've watched some of Kenny's stuff over on YouTube. Um, there's a couple of guys that I know that have made good Reaper stuff as well over the years. I should look and see if they're still currently putting stuff out, and if they are, I'll put their links in the next stream. The people that are kicking down the best stuff for Reaper users are not exactly Mr. Excitements. Yeah. Oh, man. Designed by Logic. Hey, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Let's check out one of these. Let's check out one of these capture tracks we put out today. Well, welcome, dude. Nate is a fantastic human. If you're a friend of Nate's, you'll probably enjoy it here. Good to have you, man. I think we should probably just chop these. This is not a strip silence tool moment. Just because the noise floor actually never dips down to silence here on any of these. So we'll just do a quick little manual visual trim here on these and just kind of see how close we can get to something that we actually like. Only takes a few minutes to chop about 15 minutes worth. And then it's easy enough to just parse them into either their own tracks or set up a speedy workflow to get them all out into the wild. Otherwise, I would absolutely be using strip silence. See, pretty painless. All right. There's a chunk of silence in here too that I cut up. There it is. All right. Eric, I still know tons of people that use Audacity for simple audio edits for all sorts of stuff, especially people that are, using a lot of field recorders, that type of stuff. I personally just run everything through Logic, honestly. It's just, like, I get it. Designed by Logic. Are you a Logic user? I see the mention of Reaper here as well. Kevin, I thought you were going. Audacity is your stereo editor. I see. And Wave Ripper. Gotcha. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, well, as fun as it is playing with those reactor effects, I'd like to get some stuff done here. I'm going to switch to thermal for a bit, spice these bad boys up. Maybe we could do like a little like resonant feedback type of thing. I don't really want, I don't think we really need this reverb right here on this one. So let's swap that out. That's pretty dope. Okay, up on this first bandwidth. Let's get the width cranked up a bit. Let's just bring in the lows on this one. Let's offset those a bit. It's actually a pretty tasty finisher for this one. Maybe put just a touch more movement on this thing. Something really simple to generate a little bit more interest. Simple, clean. No delays. Maybe, that's simple. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's get into this and change our shape. All right. Let's toss a couple in here and see what they all sound like together. And we'll get lucky and have a nice batch process on this. Toss a linear phase on this just to keep it nice and tight. It's pretty harsh. Welcome back, Pink Rose. No longer Purple Pros because why? Just because? Color bath. Nice. Oh, nice. Dipping into game audio. Have you always been on the visual front prior to this, Design by Logic? I mean, you mentioned your family studio. You come from musical roots? Cool. So you come from a film family. Very nice. Supercharger on this. That's some pretty cool, weird, wild stuff right there. Yeah, these probably don't even need any time in guitar rig. All right, let's start charting the course here. All right, so if we're going to aim for somewhere between maybe 1,000 and 1,200 sounds, let's say 200 Atmos, 200 basic textures, 200 dimensional drones. It's all the way up to 6 already. Have a general, say, 200 transitions. We'll say 200 swells. And sweeteners. So that puts us at 1,000 sounds. If we toss in an additional just general effects, that takes us up to 1,200. So we're looking at like 100 dark, 100 light. $100 with nature. $100. Synthetic. Ups and downs. Short 100 long. And we can do the same here. So before I start bouncing out larger libraries, what I'll do is I'll start building basic categories that I start building up inside of an actual, up inside of an actual directory. So for something like this, and we just start it on the desktop, I guess. Atmospheres, textures, drones, transitions, kind of wondering, oops. So that'll be good. And we'll probably end up having a bonus because we usually do give people what they want. So inside of our atmospheres, we'll have dark and light. In the drones, we'll have nature and synthetic. We'll have short and long here. Oops. Swells and sweeteners, short and long. Textures, simple and complex. Oops. I know this isn't the most entertaining thing to watch, but it's got to be done. Transitions, ups and downs. We'll just call that for right now. Just dipping back into the chat here. Checking up with Design by Logic, but no, games have taken my interest. There's a Minecraft company I was looking at working with at some point, but in general, just want to learn about games in general. Oh, nice. First game jam this week. Yeah, life always gets in the way, right? Oh, this this project that I'm working on right now is a it'll be a cinematic library. Well, cinematic style, right? It's to be used in music production, film work, and game work. The theme is just going to be atmospheres and textures. It's a bit on the dark, immersive, kind of dramatic side. There's actually a few larger cinematic leaning libraries planned for the upcoming year. I just try to lay out the file structure ahead of time so that as I start filling them up, I can just quickly click into each one and look at the file count inside of Finder. It's just a super quick way for me to stay on task, because when I go back and, for instance, just look at several different logic projects that I've started where I've riffed on ideas. Those then all have to be bounced into one singular location over time. And we've worked a few different streams on this. So these swells and sweeteners, maybe it could actually be something like swells and Brahms, maybe, because we did a whole bunch of Brahms. The layered ambience will be in our drones mostly. Okay, cool. So one of the things that I would like to do during the production of, or the finishing stage of all of this, is use RC20 on a fair number of them and spin out an additional little preset pack that y'all can enjoy as a little subscriber bonus. Quick reminder, if you're a subscriber, go hit the Discord, download all your free sample packs. Yeah, it depends on what corners you're poking around in, Dizzy Logic, because yeah, some people are very busy. I myself am incredibly busy right now. I would say that those who have pushed hard are probably a lot busier now than they were pre-COVID. Um, a lot of them were already remote, so that helps, right? Because they already had an angle. They were already very established. London, all right. Yeah, Eric, how you holding up job-wise out there? Pinewood Studios. Yeah, I feel like any of the smaller places, man, it's tough. It is tough. Um, and a lot of them have been gobbled up. A lot of the big companies have been gobbled up or merged or partnered as a way to survive all of this. It just sucks. Um, I've been encouraging people in training sessions and stuff to make this their year of hunkering down and focusing on them rather than their clients if they're struggling to get new clients into their rotations. A lot of people have the ability to bring in a little bit of unemployment right now with the pandemic support that's being put out there by most decent governments right now. And I feel like that gives people a little bit of a cushion. Um, just don't get too comfy with it and try building up your own personal libraries and portfolios a lot more right now, because when the creative industries start popping again, it's going to be insane because there's going to be such a huge backlog. A lot of the stuff that you're seeing cranked out as new releases right now was produced, prior to all of this happening or being produced entirely by people independently of teams. So it's a really good time. It's a really good time to cash in on not having much in the way of distractions, right? If you're not being pulled in 12 different directions by 12 different clients, you can really focus and get a ton of stuff done. And whoever's doing that right now is going to be a winner when we come out of this thing. So, firm believer. Um, do you do much networking here on Twitch, Design by Logic? Now, that would have been a cool behind the scenes tour right there. Get to see some Bond stages. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, so these swells and sweeteners. Hmm. Instead of short and long on this, I think what I'm going to do is we'll do something more along the lines of impacts, Brahms, and cues maybe. Where would you suggest looking for smaller projects to hop on? I'm trying to drop into some game jams, but they never seem to be on when I'm free. And now I went and followed as many sound channels as I could find on Twitch, but I'm fairly new to sound, did a little uni course, and then took a break because of COVID, but hoping to make this year a productive one. Well, the best thing you can do is stay productive. hands down. And if you cannot find people to work with right now, then you should probably just be grabbing little video snippets, even if it's just from YouTube or Steam or something like that, and start scoring them yourself. Um, Here's the thing. Um, when you put together demo reels, and any kind of portfolio previews for people to check out, right, as a way to get traffic to you, these don't have to be um, original projects, especially if you're just starting out. And you can have a disclaimer up on the site that says that, like, all these clips are from games that I did not officially work on, but all of the sounds are mine, or something like that, right? It still shows the same exact thing to people, what you're capable of. It also shows kind of what your niche is, what kind of hole you could fill if you were to come in and join a team, or if you were working on an independent game, just flying solo for sound, like what you could actually handle. Um, good. Yeah, you should be. You should be. And then, just try to stay on top of your file management, right? Early. Get super, super organized and save every last little thing that you create. Because over time, you'll get very, very savvy at this, and you'll take each one of those sounds and you'll spin out dozens of variations on each one. And as you gain more knowledge about workflows and tool sets and trends and that type of thing, you'll become even more savvy, and you'll become even more creative in repurposing and reusing. I tend to teach people and encourage people to follow this very simple system of plant seeds and sow, reap the rewards later, right? And by that I mean just constantly be creative, save everything, and then go back, make time to revisit those things. Anything that's useful should be put into kind of your official production library, if you will, that you're going to use as your basic core source sounds moving forward. And the quicker you can start building that, the better all of your workflows, all of your growth will be, because you're going to have results that are unique to you. And that's the best thing that you can do to help you stand out from others, right? Number one is show up, and number two is stand out, right? Um, so yeah. After a 6-month break, I've tried to do a StarCraft 2 sound replacement. Well, you can always bring your stuff over here, and we'll give you honest and blunt feedback, both myself and the chat. We don't destroy you or anything, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. We give you constructive feedback and even creative ideas when it happens. So you're always welcome to bring it here. Big tip indeed, file management, and always back it up. Yeah, and try to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of your overall standard, like what your quality benchmarks are and stuff like that. Because when you're aware of that, it's easier for you to assess what you're packaging and putting out there for other people, because that's their first impression of you, right? Um, and you need to be able to show off many things simply through audio or through little video snippets with your audio, right? And those things are, mastery of craft and tool, um, you know, creative ideation, those type of things. Um, and then, range of abilities across genres, that type of thing. And just knowing, how your stuff measures up to other folks, right? I think that the sound swapping, the replacement thing is an important thing to do. I would also, I always recommend setting up some kind of challenge schedule for yourself, where you engage with limitations in order to increase productivity. Um, so an example of that would be, you're going to make a coin grab sound, right, for a game. So you make a nice coin grab sound. Now challenge yourself, put yourself on the clock and say, in the next 60 minutes, can I make 25 more of these? Or in the next 60 minutes, can I make 50 more of these, right? You already have one sound. You don't have to create that sound again. This is just going to be um, more of an exercise in getting to know the rest of your tools. Because what you don't want to do is get caught up in the cycle of always recreating the wheel without true direction. Because you're going to start to feel like you're floundering and there is no real progress being made. And um, if you focus on this concept of create a high quality core library of sounds and then spin new sounds out of those, um, it gives you immediate direction, and it helps you gain perspective and insight into your skill level, your your current progression, like where you are position wise on your roadmap, um, like your path of goals, so to speak, right? Um, so as long as you're continually growing during this pandemic, personally, then you'll grow professionally as well. You just have to start getting stuff into well-managed file systems for you to be able to parse through it all and make sense of it in a meaningful way, right? And then use a very systematic approach, use the same tools continually so your navigation time trends down as your productivity trends up. Um, yeah, Zamarit says 55s. Um, what is this? You left a lot of your sounds on Uni's storage so that it didn't clog your storage up, but then Uni was hacked. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh dude, I'm just reading through this. This sucks. Um, Looking to build up your range of plugins as well. Had access to a lot at Uni, but now obviously don't. Yeah, I would absolutely start with the stock plugins in your DAW. The next thing I would recommend is go download Reaktor if you haven't already and start digging through the Reaktor user library because everything there is free. You can get a free player version of Reaktor to get started if you don't have Complete already, or like paid versions of these things from Native Instruments. But they're basically the Adobe of our industry. And you got to have their tools. You gotta know them. Don't necessarily have to use them all the time, but you got to understand, like, the functionality of them all. Oh man. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sure it does feel like you're kind of wasting your time if your goal is to be working with clients, right? And you're not working with clients. But just have faith and trust in the process of building content that is yours, right? Think of it this way. In the new world of doing line on business, and I mean new world like the last 20 years or so, I think the large majority of any successful business person would tell you that the holy grail is a well managed email list, right? It's a direct connection um, to your established user base, right? These are fully vetted and qualified shoppers, right? Um, and they're loyal to your brand, or they're aware of your brand at the very least. If you were to ask anyone in our business, like the stuff that you're aiming to do, what's the holy grail? And um, I would bet that most of them would probably say your own library of sounds. And that's one of the easiest things to be building right now. Like whether you're taking a walk every day outside and capturing a whole bunch of field recordings, or you're spending an hour a day around the house capturing various found sound, Foley type stuff that you can then transform. However you're doing it, just accumulate and amass right now, and then get to know those sounds and figure out different ways in which you can engage with those sounds to make new things while you're working on these replacement videos, right? And then as you do that, you'll slowly start to feel larger leaps in your progression. And when you do start having conversations with people, then you have something to hit the ground running with. You're not just starting with them, and that can be much, much harder. I know so many people that have come looking for help after the fact because they thought, okay, well, I've got this idea, I'm going to go do this thing. And then they're like, I know how to make good sounds. And they go out and they start talking with these people and they make themselves sound very capable. And they believe that they are, and they get the gig, and they're not. They don't have the habits and routines and skills in place to actually get all of this stuff done in the right time frame, or each time they put up a sound, it's coming back to them from the client. The client's saying, you're not hearing what I'm asking for, or whatever, right? So just going through constant iteration begins to unlock things that you can't quite, they're not quite tangible enough to put into words for most people in the beginning. That's what I'm trying to say. What I said to download was Reaktor. Go to the Native Instruments website. If you don't already have it, grab Reaktor. And then when you're logged into your account on the Native Instruments website, you can go and hit the Community tab and then go to the Reaktor user library. That's what we were actually digging into today. So it's good timing. We were just downloading some random things and playing with them. But this right here is a playground, right? It's got all the different instruments you could need, all the different effects you could need, all the different generators, all the different sequencers. It's got a modular synthesis environment. You can actually start, if you know how to build things, you can build your own synths and effects and whatnot using this tool. So it's absolutely worth it. Yeah, the other thing I would make mention of, because I see the comment here of you had a good client at your fingertips and then life got in the way, and that's always going to happen. Like that's just something that's just always going to, pandemic or not, those types of things happen. But the first client is most likely never going to be the best client, and I've also known countless people that have run through the normal steps of experience, and that is you get out of school or you make a run at this independently, and the first few clients you get are just awful. They don't know how to communicate what they actually want. They take advantage of your low rates. They ask for a constant new comps of things, new versions of things. Getting payment from them is difficult. It's discombobulated because you're working with people on these lower rungs, right? And as you go up in experience, you start to get the perspective. You can spot these guys a mile away after a while, but you just got to go through these steps. You can set up a Fiverr. The only downside of setting up a Fiverr is that a lot of the transactions that you get are simply that. They are transactional. They're not, these people aren't looking for long-term relationships. They're there to be on the cheap. Most people are not there shopping for talent. It's just a hard truth. That said, there's lots of people out there looking for stuff on the cheap. So you can get out there and you can get your stuff into projects. It doesn't always equate to something that you can really share in a portfolio. You may never actually know what these things end up going into. It's kind of like putting your stuff out into royalty-free portfolios, which I would recommend, by the way. It's not a path to stardom or fancy riches immediately, but it gets a portfolio built, and you will get clients from that. You will get more clients from that usually than something like a Fiverr, because it's not a discount budget search, right? Like these folks are more like they've got a budget that they're working with. So that's why they're not going to Fiverr, right? Because they're willing to pay for bigger user licenses, right? Because they're not going to pay people royalties long term. So if your stuff goes into a fairly well distributed movie or game or whatever, then a larger license is purchased, right? And most of these places are allowing you to set your own price in exchange for a brutal entry experience in most of these. The average person is shot down dozens of times before they get anything accepted. Um, so, Merits, that really depends on what exactly your audio is. Okay. And I'm not saying that to be difficult. And I'm not saying that different marketplaces have such extreme niches that they fill or niches that they fill. It's more about market saturation at this point. And it's not just about the pandemic. This has been a growing trend for the past 15 years. People were very resistant to the idea of royalty free at first. And those of us that got into it early are like, neener, neener, neener. And everybody else is like, well, I'm going to make a run at this now because look, it's legit. Like these guys vetted it for us. This is an established safe route for us to go. And the reason is because people don't want to pay $40,000 for a song to be put into their film. You know what I mean? They'll pay someone a few $100s. Just 5-10 years ago, they would have been willing to pay someone dozens of dollars for a royalty-free track to go into something like that. And now they're willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars, but it's going to be a lot less than they would pay someone else typically, right? And they can ditch what middlemen they were engaging with before, which always manipulate a situation, right? They always make situations harder because it's just an additional layer to communicate through. So that said, where to put them up? What are you making? Ambient, electronica, sound effects, 8-bit, dark ambient, if that helps, drum loops. I would say yeah, I just going back here really quick. What Eric is saying is summarizing it all really quick. Just get into the swing of actually doing the work every single day. So that way, when the clients do come and their high expectations um, are brought in to your reality, you're already mid flow. Like you're already mid stride. You don't even have to stretch out. Um, if you have a friend in this business, stick with them and get some mentors, right? And you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. You could book sessions with a couple different people, maybe even a couple different countries or something, right? Um, or people with different specialties, people that you can trust and rely upon to be there. You know, they're not going to drop off your radar 6 months from now or whatever. So you can actually grow with them over time. But just get in. You can get a free version of Reaktor to get started. You can get a free version of Reaktor, Kontakt, and Guitar Rig, and you should because you're going to use them every single day, probably. And then when you're actually making some money, you can buy Complete, and then you'll have all of the tools that you'll need for many, many, many years to come. Oh, go to the main page of Native Instruments, and then click on Products, and there's a little free option in the menu bar right here. It's tough to see because it's a smaller font because it's free, but go ahead and click there. The things that you want to grab, the very first thing is Complete Start. And what that includes is Kontakt and Reaktor and Guitar Rig and a handful of other things, including Blocks, which is the modular synth environment. There's also a like a zither kind of instrument for free right now. It's part of their holiday giveaway. Yeah, and what Zamerit says here is also spot on. Getting your stuff out there is oftentimes more important than chasing down the free opportunities. So now that I'm done bagging on all the low pay and free opportunities, you've got to take those. You've got to take whatever you can in the beginning to get the experience, right? There's going to be a lot of people out there that say you should only ever do work that, is going to pay you. And it's like, call this stretching out. Like, do your time. Do your time. Like, know your place and position in the industry. Be humble, check your ego at the door, and you're going to do fine. You just got to put in the time. It's got to put in the time. And it's not a matter of putting in the time to earn your rank in the old boys club or anything like that. It's quite the opposite. It's you got to do your time to hone your craft. That's really all it is. And part of that is honing your mind and your mindset and having the discipline and the know-how to work with both intention and discovery in equal measure every single day. And that comes from knowing exactly which tool to reach for exactly which task. Because otherwise, the hard, brutal reality hits you square in the face. Okay? You can make the best sounds in the world. But if it takes you a month longer to make them than other people, the clients aren't going to wait for you, and you can't afford to keep doing it because you got to eat. Like, these are the brutal, hard truths. So I see the pandemic right now as a massive opportunity for a lot of people that are currently collecting some kind of unemployment or something like that. Like, they've got some kind of a life draft that they're holding on to, and this gives you time. And that is the biggest friend you can have in this, honestly. All right, so Samaris, getting back to the question about what marketplace, that sounds like you would probably be a good candidate for Audio Jungle would be a good one. I would probably steer clear of Pond 5 for what you're looking to do. I would think that a lot of stuff is going to be oversaturated. Um, um, but it also sounds like you're looking to put stuff into a marketplace for other musicians. Is that correct? Are you looking to do more like sample packs than you are licensing into like screen, like sync work? Yeah, the native instruments universe must be entered. Paul is correct, and a lot of the interfaces are actually being updated so they can actually be blown up on the on the bigger screens. Um, so help is on the way on that front. Doesn't need to be music, remixed, a game, 8-second clip for a video. To um, yeah, Metapop is cool. They were actually purchased by Native Instruments a few years ago. Um, they're fun. Um, I would definitely go with a platform like that that's backed by a very resource rich partner or parent company, because people watch them. People watch them. Like, there's A&R um, trolling those spots all the time. Um, designed by Logic. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? Kevin. Yeah, you want native access so you can load the stuff on your machine, right? Rob Pawn. Find my place. Is there a hatch to the basement somewhere? That's awesome. It's in the bunker, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you're looking just for a place to get your stuff out, man, um, I would really highly like, especially if you're wanting to do this as more than a hobby eventually, get a website together. Even if it's just like a free, um, WordPress site or something like that. You could run WooCommerce on that, which is a free um, um, like storefront basically. And once you've got those two simple free tools, you can create any kind of taxonomy system you want long term. Like you can stay with a tool like that forever. Get your stuff up there and give them all away in exchange for emails, because you're going to be attracting a certain type of person with free content. And you're also going to be attracting a certain type of person with your sounds compared to other people's sounds, right? So you might as well take advantage of those things and get an email list going. And it's not just like a first one's free kind of thing. You can make that a model. You can absolutely release free stuff continually. And that email list will go. It'll just continue to grow. And people will stick with it with their real email addresses because they want more stuff, right? And then eventually you can put out some stuff, pay what you will, or donation based or whatever, or start charging $5 or $10 a pack, whatever. And once you start hearing back from people like, these are amazing, this is better than I'm getting elsewhere or whatever, you can have more confidence in pricing yourself a bit higher. And yeah, if you're really looking to make sounds for musicians and DJs and whatnot, and not put them into film and game predominantly, then I would say eventually aim for something like an ADSR or something to get your foot in the door for sales, simply because they've got the traffic. Like, you may not get much of it initially, but you're going to be there. And backlinks matter. And then once you get to that point where you are putting stuff up in marketplaces, or you're just wanting to start building traffic to a website, maybe we should jump into a session together or something. I can kind of walk you through the PR side of it and help you, get the initial buzz started up. From that point forward, it's really just about finding the stuff that you really enjoy to do, right? Because it can be a grind, like just building sample packs and stuff. So doing stuff that you really love is super important. Designed by Logic, you're 22. Dude, you've got all the time in the world. This is great. Like, you're so very focused on this. So you're going to attain these goals. I have no doubt about it. You're only 22. That's a stupid, simple equation in my mind. You've got youth on your side. And you've got, you come from creative stock too. So it's going to go well for you, I'm sure. Yeah, recent grads is hard, but I would also say that people that have been in industries for quite a while and demand or command a larger wage, and not willing to settle for less, those people are in a much tougher spot, I'm afraid, like moving forward. I really think so, because they're not going to be able to keep up with the advancements in a lot of this stuff. It's just going to be really difficult. Another thing about NI is their samples are absolutely licensed without restriction. Yep. Some of their packs. Oh, ADSR. Yeah, I helped build ADSR. If you weren't here at the very beginning of the the channel starting a few months ago, I don't really talk much about the specifics of what I have accomplished over the years. I tend to just kind of play with you guys, but I have done a few things, and the whole independent sound design marketplace did not exist before we built it. And now look, right? The industry is completely different because of it. Um, yeah, sounds.com is them. That's them. That's their subscription platform. I sell through them too. I've worked with NI for many years. Um, yeah, I'm sure they are zapping certain content makers, and they should. All of these subscription platforms should be zapping content creators and trying to whittle down into some kind of team of some kind. Otherwise, they're gonna drown. They're gonna drown in their own reduced value soon. Awesome. Good to hear it. Designed by Logic. If you're ever looking for help, there's lots and lots of help, but um, YouTube videos and whatnot. But hit the follow button or the sub button or whatever, and come back and spend more time with us, and we'll always be happy to take a look at what you're working on, give you honest feedback. Um, and we'll be doing workshops again here soon. Cool. Yeah, I really I kind of started to just blow off Discord right after I put it up because it was that there was some kind of conflict between Streamlabs and Discord at the time. But I do still put new free stuff up there for the subscribers. So if you're sub to the channel, you can go in there, you can download free stuff, which is what it's usually for. Thank you, Rob. I always like hearing that people appreciate the feedback. Oh, no, don't even. Yeah, don't even. This is um, the worst thing in the world for anyone in our business is hearing, oh, that's great. That sounds awesome. Like, that's the worst. That's the worst. When you're first starting out, that's what you want to hear. But it is not helpful. Being surrounded by yes men is never a good thing. You want people that'll give it to you. That's truly what you want. Yeah, and you're in a safe place. Paul says, by the way, you handled that one feedback on Monday very tactfully. The one with the the Auschwitz line. Yeah, full disclosure, my eyes were actually on a couple other things when the track first started, and I was trying to command tab back over to that browser tab to stop it before I even got to that point because he was talking about, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of abuse in any way. I would have shut it down much sooner had my thumbs not been fumbling all over my keyboard. But I was happy to turn it off when I did. Yeah, we'll dip into Massive X too when I put the new license on this machine. That's a heaven send right there. Everyone looked right past it when it came out. It's absolutely astounding to me what people who don't know what they're talking about can do influence-wise online these days. It's just absolutely astounding. Um, so if you're studying Muay Thai, then you're gonna slaughter in this business. You really will. You're obviously a very focused and disciplined person, and you're seeking out more of it. So you're gonna be just fine. Oh man. When you're ready, we can book some sessions or something. We'll put you through a boot camp and get you up to speed super fast. First he was beating bitches, then Hitler marching into Auschwitz, waiting for puppy, kitten, and torture versus. Yeah, seriously. And then he didn't understand. He didn't understand why someone might not want to put him into a playlist or something, comparing himself to Eminem. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at people. I don't mean to do that, but seriously, just very unaware of thyself for sure. uh, Oh yeah, Rob, it was actually much worse than just that. What's funny is we go for months at a time without any kind of incident too, which, I mean that's crazy. I'm honestly surprised. There are not many trolls on Twitch, to be fair. I mean, otherwise everyone with a review stream would get rickrolled every 30 seconds, right? But man. Oh man. Oh, these boot camps are good. Because I've written college curriculum and you just get to use that basically. You just get to go step by step. It's just completely expedited because it's customized and you only ever touch the things that you want to know about for your growth, and you don't have to be bogged down by the rest. It's a nice way to do it. Yeah, Paul, no, I think he was so serious. So serious. I have a fear that a lot of these guys have no idea what they're even talking about when they put this stuff up. It's what they grew up with, you know what I mean? And they're like 12, 13, 14 year olds so old, they get Fruity Loops or something or GarageBand and they start putting stuff together and they're basically just, I mean, they're just parroting what they hear. It's, I don't know, it's bothersome. Yep. All right, kitty cats. I'd love to stay and talk all day, but oh, Rob, dude. By the way, from Germany. What part of Germany? Yeah, the shock and awe value thing is rife. Close to Berlin. Right on. So you've loaded up native access. Which ones did you say I should install? There's 14 things here. Just install them all. Um, you'll use them all. Complete control you can load as a singular plugin inside of your DAW, and then you can access whatever kind of sounds you want from the different tools. Kontakt is a sampler. It's the sampler for the industry basically. Reaktor is a sandbox environment where you can build your own synths and effects and stuff like that. It's also got a modular synthesis backbone, and you can load up a range of instruments, synths, generators, sequencers, whatever, and hybrids of all those things. You can do all that inside of Reaktor. Blocks base. Blocks is um, the modular synthesis system that runs inside of Reaktor. Guitar rig is exactly what it sounds like. It's like guitar pedals, but it's way more than that, and it will be your best friend in sound design eventually. Um, those are the big ones. The other things run inside of it. So you're going to find a whole bunch of playable instruments, multi-sampled instruments that run inside of Kontakt, and you're going to find a whole bunch of effects and stuff like that, and instruments that run inside of Reaktor. So they're environments that you put larger things into. So um, Rob, East and West doesn't exist anymore, just in the head. So I am from West. Yeah, yeah, totally. Absolutely. Um, yeah, Saf, I will see you in about an hour. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship between musicianship and sound design, whatever we call this arena of endeavor? Well, sound design used to mean something a bit more specific than it does now, which I appreciate. I think musicianship, this is the idea of bringing a melodic idea or um, auditory art to life. Sound design, however, is working on elements that can add up to be something larger in context. So, um, you might spend an hour working on the sound design of a bass in your favorite synth. And hopefully, if you know what you're up to, then you're programming all of the macros and everything in there as well. And what that does then is allow you to use something that's more of a living, breathing organism than it is a two-dimensional sound bite, if you will, right? So I feel like there is this threshold that you can cross over. It's kind of like the difference between cooking and chefing, right? A cook can follow a recipe that a chef has written. A chef understands a bit of the food science and the trends and the whatevers to get there. And I can speak dismissively about it because I'm a chef, but there's like this threshold that you step over. If you're loading up presets and tweaking stuff to your liking, you're a cook. And if you're programming the whole thing, you're a chef. And sound design doesn't have to be synthesis, right? But if you can swing from both sides of the plate, so to speak, then um, you kind of become a full stack master, if you will. And the crossover point that you're asking about, the whole, where does one begin and the other end or whatever, it's more about a pursuit more than anything else, right? If you're chasing music, you may very well have to chase sound design if what you hear in your head isn't readily available to you, and that's how a lot of people get started with it. And then there's people that just get stuck in it, right? Because you start to understand that like you can pour just as much of yourself into a sound as you could an entire track, and it's just as fulfilling. That's a big question. Like we could probably talk about that for an entire stream, honestly. Google obsoleted education. Let's reword that. Maybe obsoleted academia, right? You're still learning. I don't know. Yeah, it is daunting. Designed by logic. And yes, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of instructional videos, for myself included, YouTube, otherwise. Ooh, full moon tomorrow. Nice. Oh, right. Hey, who was it? Paul, was it you? Or no, maybe it was Kevin that was telling us, oh shoot, what is laugh? Felix. Phoenix. Phoenix? Felix. Felix's laugh. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't pan and Doppler your spaceship sound because the re-recording mixer will pan that to picture. Oh, yeah, see, these are big questions, right? These are when you're making sounds that will exist in someone else's project, the very first thing you need to learn is that it's not like making sounds for your project because you need to make something that is wholly supportive. Their project is what takes the priority. That said, if you were to put time-based effects in play, like reverb, for instance, or specific pan positions, what are the odds that every single person that opens that file will see that as a perfect or ideal fit for their project? It's very, very, very unlikely. But if you put that really awesome sound out there for people and it's not drenched in a specific reverb or something like that, then they can put their own reverb on it. They can pan it into their own position in the stereo field, and it's going to fit just fine. And there's lots and lots and lots of little lessons like that. And there is a difference, like in how you're preparing or treating or delivering your files to other people versus using them yourself, for sure. There's a whole undercurrent of philosophical questions that you're asking in your couple of questions there. So we should table this for now and pick it back up in the next couple of streams, because this is some of the stuff that you don't hear people talk about very much, but it's quite literally the difference between so you do some stuff versus that guy's a freaking hero. You know what I mean? Like because so much of it is just mindset and understanding your position in all of this, right? And your sound's position in all of this, and how these things fit together like a big puzzle. Eric. Oh, man. People, I would gamble that most people don't even know about Scholar at Google. Oh man. All right, kitty cats. I gotta bounce. I got sessions today. So thank you for spending so much time with me. I appreciate it. I do. Every single last one of you. And I'll see you again on Friday. I'm sure of it. I'll leave you with a little tune for a minute. Anybody looking to book sessions? I'm a couple weeks out right now. Just a heads up, and I apologize for that. And I know I'm behind on answering some emails too. I will try to make some time this afternoon to get back to some of you. All that said, I will see you on Friday. Thank you so much again. And I'll see you on the flip. Peace out.